I swear this Ubisoft situation just keeps on getting weirder and weirder. If you guys didn't know, Ubisoft is currently in the process of sort of figuring out their future, whether that means, selling the company or whatever it may be. I've made lots and lots of videos on this in the last like 3 months. They're pretty much just completely plummeting. As you can tell, here is the stock chart here. You can see that their stock is just going completely down over the last year. It's even worse over the last 5 years. It's even worse. They're just kind of taking a really bad approach to all around their video games. If you are, an avid video game player or, you're a Ubisoft fan, then you know this, and I would consider myself to be a Ubisoft fan as well. I'm not trying to hate on Ubisoft. I really hope they can figure this out, but they are really taking an interesting approach here, kind of digging themselves in a hole. But I'm gonna be using this article here pretty much as my main source for this video. I'm gonna leave it up on screen so I don't take any unnecessary credit, but this is from Game Developer. The article is by Chris Kerr. Ubisoft is taking decisive steps to reshape company and renew focus on gameplay quality, and this is in the midst of the news that Assassin's Creed Shadows, their next Assassin's Creed game, has been delayed by 1 month again. So this is kind of a big deal. Way back at, I guess it was like November or sometime around there in 2024, Ubisoft announced that they were going to be delaying Assassin's Creed Shadows, and that doesn't really happen. Like Ubisoft normally sticks to their schedule, especially with their Assassin's Creed games, and they said it was so that they could make this game as good as possible. So a lot of people think that this Assassin's Creed Shadows game is going to be like almost their last test if they can actually, remain afloat as a video game company, I guess. They've had so many failed launches, just failed games over the years. I mean, most recently with their Star Wars game, like it just was a complete and utter failure. And that's because they are just taking an outdated approach. I've made lots of videos, going more in depth about that particular side of it, but we're kind of looking more at like the businessy kind of side of it here. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and read this article here. So like how it said, Ubisoft told investors that it intends to take decisive steps to reshape the company, and they are hoping to deliver the best in-class player experiences to enhance operational efficiency and maximize value creation. Now, what does this really mean? It doesn't mean a whole lot. They kind of have to tell their investors this because they need the money, but I mean, they're always trying to deliver the best in-class player experiences. It's not like they were trying to have an unoptimized experience or unoptimized, profits or whatever, So they are continuing to drive significant cost reductions here, and they intend to create a more selective approach to investments. I think this is a good thing. They definitely need to kind of be a little bit more wary of what they are doing. I feel like they've kind of, they're a gaming giant. They've been at the top of the video game industry for literally, decades now when you think about it. So they've kind of just thought they could get away with whatever. They could put out a game, it doesn't have to be the highest quality, and they could still make a lot of money for that. Well, no, they're now realizing that they can't just keep on doing this, and they're, seeing the ramifications of this right now. They're losing money because their video games are lacking quality. So I do think this is a good thing if they kind of take a more selective approach to their investments. And then obviously they have the idea of layoffs and, a bunch of other cost reduction plans, but that kind of is a little bit out of the realm of this topic of the video, I guess. And then they are also appointing leading advisors to review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. Again, kind of just business jargon. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that they are still trying. You know what I mean? They could very easily just, I guess, turtle up and kind of sell the company off, make their money, and be done with it. But it seems like they're trying, and that's a good thing. That's more initiative than we've seen from this company in years now. So I don't think that there's anything you could really say that's bad about this. Really, all of this is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a matter of what they actually do with it. It's been really over a year now that Ubisoft has been saying, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna make sure this is better, this video game is gonna be the best it can possibly be, and we're gonna make these changes. But those changes haven't been happening. It's not enough just to keep saying it. It's it's action time now. They are finally backed up against the wall. They need to make changes or else they cannot continue to operate. And so yeah, this is good. I'm glad that they are continuing to say they're going to make these changes. It's time that they actually do it. There's a little bit more talk about like cost reduction stuff that we're gonna skip over here. This is where some of the more juicy stuff comes in. So in October 2024, it was reported that Ubisoft majority shareholders, the Guillemot family, were exploring buyout options with Tencent. I made a video about this back in October. I made a couple of follow-up videos as well. They're still kind of in the process of figuring out a deal. Actually, it says here, Ubisoft refused to comment on those rumblings during a strategic call update earlier today. That means that they're probably still in the process. They can't really disclose anything. It sounds like this is probably going to be the next step if all else fails. And I forgot to even mention earlier when I was talking about Star Wars Outlaws, or when I brought it up, you know, X Defiant also. They really are just in an awful position right now, you know, in the business world, but also just looking at it from like a video game standpoint. Like, they really are struggling tremendously. They feel like they haven't put out some quality in a really, really long time. And so that leads us into where we are now, where they have decided to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows by an additional month to incorporate the player feedback gathered over the past 3 months and help create the best conditions for launch. Originally, they were going to launch February 14th, and this was the original delay. Now I believe it's March 20th, so a little bit over a month. But this is kind of like they're making it their last ditch effort. They're saying like, hey, we are going to pour everything and anything that we have into this game, and we are going to make it the best possible launch that we can, you know. And Assassin's Creed is their #1 moneymaker, you know. So like, this is everything that they have, you know. Like, if this game fails, they are done. And I think they're recognizing this. From what it seems like, everything that they're saying, they know now, like, they have to put their best foot forward. They can't just put out a mediocre game, especially with their Assassin's Creed franchise. So I'm really hoping that this game is good. I haven't really had any desire to play the Assassin's Creed games over the last 5 years. Growing up, I played them all and they were really good, but that kind of just goes back to what I was saying earlier with the fact that they just don't put the quality in anymore. The games haven't been as great, at least from what I hear. I know there's some people who have really liked some of the past few Assassin's Creed games, so I don't want to generalize, but still. And this is kind of like the finale here. They're saying, we are convinced that there are several potential paths to generate value from Ubisoft's assets and franchises. Additionally, we're all behind our team's efforts to create the most ambitious Assassin's Creed opus of the franchise and made the decision to provide an extra month, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we get that. I mean, this is very interesting. So with this first sentence here, let's break it down a little bit, saying that they are convinced that there are several potential paths to generate value from Ubisoft's assets and franchises. There's a few different ways you could look at that. One, Assassin's Creed Shadows does amazing. They make a whole lot of money from that game, and they're able to catapult that into more success in 2025 and, you know, in the long term. Two, the other way you could look at that is, hey, we're just going to sell, you know, our franchises. We're going to sell Assassin's Creed. We're going to sell the Tom Clancy franchise. We're just going to sell the whole company. That is the other way that they are including in this very general, you know, phrase here, saying that there are potential paths to generate value. So I don't know, they're saying they are behind the team's efforts to create the most ambitious Assassin's Creed game. Like how I said, this is so interesting to me. They are really grouping together, like, their overall company success, they are entirely grouping with the success of this next Assassin's Creed game, which I think is really boxing them in. It's not really giving them a whole lot of wiggle room, because if this Assassin's Creed game isn't the best thing since sliced bread, then I don't know. Like, people can't expect it to reinvent the wheel, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's just Assassin's Creed, which is great and all, but if they're expecting something that's like I said, reinventing the wheel, they're not gonna get it. So I don't really know, like, are they already setting themselves up for failure? Like, maybe they should just be, you know, this should be their year. You know, maybe it shouldn't just be Assassin's Creed Shadows. Maybe it should be, we are going to pour everything we have into 2025. If it doesn't work out, you know, it doesn't work out. I don't know, kind of an interesting strategy here. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to say the least. And at the same time, it's working, because I think this is going to be the first Assassin's Creed game that I buy, like I said, in 5 years. Because if this is their, like they said, their opus of the franchise, we could be in for an incredible Ubisoft game. And I feel like it's been a really long time since I've said that, and that gets me excited. Like I said, I want to see Ubisoft succeed. It's just been really hard to see any success over these past few years. So I don't know, I'm really interested. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like I said, kind of just a lot of words in this video here, but I kind of wanted to use this article to structure the video. But yeah, like I said, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Ubisoft has what it takes? Do you think that they can catapult off of Assassin's Creed Shadows and maybe continue to survive? Do you think they're going to sell? Is Assassin's Creed Shadows going to suck? But yeah, besides for that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.